Okay, we're holding on page Kuflama Dalet. It's Siman Dalet Seif Vav. I'm going back a little bit just because last time we went a little too fast at the end and it wasn't so clear. So we'll try to do quick from now. Okay, page Kuflama Dalet. You see?
Yeah.
It's Siman Dalet Seif Vav. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, listen to Malchashecha Baslatan, Shemimei, up, we should go to the Kotter. You're not allowed to pass into the Tan. Oh, Latana Shalon Mushaene Gorov Vikatun.
Oh, you're saying tunnel from back in the
Yeah, and
day
our
or
Tana has a
today?
din of Akita. So if it would have been Gorov Vikatun, wouldn't have been a problem. But if it's any Gorov Vikatun, you have a problem. Malachara Gaba Gacholam, Elim, Ken Yeshu, who's by Yem Kadesh Yikram, Upanea Pasim, the Bokim Bitanur, Upanea Shal Sad Kalala Tanur. That both sides of the bread got browned. Ken Becharora, oh, the Ein Loch Hashem Yechate, because once it's already browned on both sides, a person's never going to turn around the gecholim. He knows he's going to turn around the gecholim that's going to burn the bread. V'isa memula bevasar bedogim oy begvina tzara shikun panam l'mayl l'lamata v'izbashel hamilu shebetoicha k'meichel ben drusoy. And if it's a calzone, a knish, so that has to be browned from both sides, and the inside has to be baked k'meichel ben drusoy. It's interesting. The Alter Rebbe says this because the Noid of Yehud over here says no, that we look at both sides of the calzone as a separate dough. But the Alter Rebbe says we look at it as one metzias. The kol pas shenefes kol kach ad sheim porsa ein chutim nimshochim emeno. Any bread that's baked enough that you're not going to have chutim nimshochim, you do a shakol b'pana koroim. Ayin semen reish lemachalav reish lemachazal hichas Pesach, where the benchmark on kosher matzahs is when you crack the matzah and you see that ein chutin imshakim.
Impossible that it should be if it's
Oh, it
cracked.
is, it is, it is, it is, it is. That's my big beef. I like it that all the bakeries, you're never going to know even because by the time you get the matzah
It's dried
dried
up.
up. So the first when we start baking matzah right away, I'm cracking matzahs and I want to see if there's chutim nimshachim. It's never going to be that bad. It'll be chutim nimshachim. Then they have a trick. They put the oven. Yeah, I told you I hate that trick. Fan. Yeah, they put it so this way it'll dry out. No, the fan is good, but they put it next to the oven and it dries up.
That's
So
the
then,
reason.
no, yeah, they don't want you to figure out the chutim shachim. I hate that. Anyway, um, that's like this is the same thing as just like Gabi Pesach. Chutim nimshachim means it's not fully baked; it's chametz. So the Gabi Shabbos chutim nimshachim means it's not fully baked. If there's no chutim nimshachim, it means it's fully baked. I want to say again, we learned this a little bit. This I'm going to go quickly. I mentioned last week that the Amalek kugels was not potato kugel. We Poiskin mentioned kugel before before Columbus came to America, and so they didn't have potato kugel before they came to America because the potatoes were invented and were discovered, not invented, in the United States of America.
No, potatoes were discovered in Ireland. There was the famine.
Potatoes, Russian. Nope.
There was a famine, and they didn't have what to eat, and that was the only
Kartoshka
thing.
hin, kartoshka her. Come from the United States of America.
Yeah.
Yep, it's American. Anyway,
The ground actually on.
Well, what's kugel? Kugel is really what we call today a knish.
No,
Knish. Kugel, a moleka kugel. When the poskim talk about kugel in some point,
potato inside a dough.
they would have a dough and they put inside pieces of meat, pieces of onion, eggs, whatever it is. As I mentioned last year, Lania's daiti. What's the Indian of a kugel? So the Indian of a kugel is that the Jewish women always took the cheapest food that there is and is available and made something yummy out of it, something delicious like Kovet Shabbos. But there's also something very deep in the Indian of kugel. There's a lot of remaz in kugel. There's round kugel, the Indian of mon, of achula, but I think there's an Indian of kugel, which to me is like a dova poshut. Every the Indian of a kugel is to take a lot of little things and put it together to become one mitzias. Like the Neider Yehuda learns that we look at both doughs as a separate mitzias. The Alter Rebbe says no. When you put the dough together and you have it the inside, you have meat, or you have onions, or you have vegetables, or you have potatoes, or you have kasha, you have potato knish, kasha knish. So like my wife makes challah b'Shabbos, so we put that tonight. I was helping her. We were starting to make the Pesach, so we have extra dough. We put in the freezer. So now we threw in the garbage. But like, what do we do with the extra dough? We make pizza. We make potato knishes with it, rogalach, whatever. Dough. So why you can do like everything with dough? You could, so all the extra dough. We usually the kids roll it out, and a lot of times we make knishes with it. So what do you put inside? Potato. We put whatever you want. Whatever you have. Whatever you have, you can put inside. What's the Indian? Achdus. It's Indian for Achdus. You know what I mean? It's Achdus. It's, the same thing potato kugel. There's a lot of little brekelach. You mix it with the eggs and the salt and the pepper and the oil, put it in the oven, it comes out, and there's vorim nefrodim, it's a gavon Achdus.
Every dish of food has a Hasidus inside.
Yes. Lanius daiti, that's
Parshas Zohar, the kugel called Amole kugel. Ein Mem Lamed Kug. What do you say in Yiddish? Meir,
Mel.
Lokshem, and
Kugel.
Oh, no. They have all this.
Yeshami machen as a kugel?
It's advertising. Amole kugel.
Ah, very schön.
Parshas Zohar.
Good. But your mother didn't make it. A lot of these things are new.
American.
Yapchik.
Yapchik.
Exactly. Okay, that's the first shita. Shkoyach for joining us. It's page Kufla Medalid, the last 3 lines. It's Simen Reish Nun Dalid, the last 3 lines on page Kufla Medalid.
So the Chochmah is to take something garbage and make out something.
Yeah, that's I think a kugel.
All the Yiddish
That's a kugel.
Is food that made from cheap stuff left.
All the Jewish food is that way. Every Jewish food,
even
if you
Shulchan.
Yeah. Every Jewish food is the cheapest stuff. What does I put it all in?
Mix it up.
Mix it up. That's Jewish
What's
food.
gefilte fish?
Who
Same idea.
invents sushi?
Huh?
Who invents sushi?
Sushi.
Jewish.
The Jack Mason.
Yeah. They try to make a kitchen without a kitchen.
No, they want.
A restaurant without a kitchen.
No, but Amos is all Jewish food.
Every
Very
Jewish
cheap
food.
stuff. Notice because they I'll tell you why. Also with the gefilte fish, they used to catch little fish. You couldn't do anything with it. You couldn't put it on the table.
Grind it up. So a bit of carrots and
right. So they Yidden used to catch a fish at this, a fish in, a fish ahead, and even the fish, the big fish, the carp. Such time the kids tonight told me, Tati, that's it. If you're bringing a carp home for Pesach, we're making a revolt. Because I have this thing I used to bring home because when the kids were young, twice a year I used to go with them to the fish store to get live fish. They used to bring, now they don't do it anymore in the stores. They used to bring in ballpark, they used to bring live carp.
back in the day, my mother used to buy the live carp and put it in the bathtub. When we used to take a bath, they'd put it there for a day or two. And then when it's Thursday night or Friday morning, you hacked in the cup and made from it.
What is that? My kids said, Tati, don't bring home that tonight. They said,
So
Tati, don't bring home.
Who would open the stomach and clean the everything inside?
No, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I go to Raskin or to. They don't bring him anyway. I don't know why. I told the kids I'm not gonna get it though anyway because they don't.
There might be places that still
Live. I want to get fresh live. I want to get fresh live. My kids don't like it anyway. When they were young, it didn't make a difference what
In
they
Israel, there was only carp back in the day.
Yeah, it
There wasn't like in America the big ones. They had small carps.
The carp. Bemis is the Hotnishkin Tam Hotnishkin Eich. Senishkin Azah. But the Jews, it was cheap. It was available. Mekola boiliyad, you skin it, you take out all the fish, you grind it, you put a carrot, you put an onion, you put a chveis, a little matzah meal, salt and pepper, a little sugar, and that's it, you're good. But I think all Jewish food is little things thrown together and made be'achtus. Kugel is an Indian of achtus. Okay. Yesh Emily, Jezet Tzadapa, Shekonim Tchila Daibekach. That any side of the bread that becomes browned first is good enough. Ish lismach the brand by the avichim over v'nas na pas tan samach l'chashechem loy kor b'el kadam the bakim tanur shemin astam ezet tzad korem tchila. That any one of the two sides, whichever one, is good enough. And usually minastam the side that's medubek b'tan is going to be tchila.
Because the wall is
Because the gold's up. And we spoke in Machlokes Rashi Toisa, Machlokes Metziz, Hakim Metziz. Really, I gave a shot last week. Whatever. Weiter. We're going to talk in Mitzvah Shem next after Pesach, my first year. That's going to be in the last Pedic that we're holding to say the Bechzananin. It's going to be a little bit about this. Okay. As long as one side was brown. If nothing of the bread was brown, it's also, and he said there's a knas. He said wait much Shabbos till as long as it would take to bake this bread. The film also samach shechem amish being creates was like a boss shvig data. Had it been raw meat, it would have been mutter. Kama kama Pascal kayetzu bezek gon ugem in a batak shayfem bekededa. Ein zamoy klum lafi shehein einam tzrichim shohuz godal ba'afi yosei. They don't need a long time for the baking. Kama shetzarach labishul basar. V'yachelum hem legam shiurim l'sudas halayla. So therefore, that's why it's different. That's why the Mishnah makes a big deal out of this. And if a person didn't listen to Chacham, he gets a knas. He's not allowed to eat it until Motzei Shabbos. So bottom line, if you put a bread in the oven, either you make sure that it's grufa ketuma, or you make sure that both sides are brown. If one side is brown, it's good enough. But if it's not brown at all, the person chaps a knas is not allowed to eat it till Motzei Shabbos. Like I said in the last year, a lot of our ovens have a Shabbos mode. And as I mentioned from Shmir Shabbos Kel Choser, Shlomo Zalman Auerbach said that a Shabbos mode is as good as a blech. Now, if you don't want to rely on that, you can put a piece of silver foil underneath it, and that's good enough. I believe I if it was b'shoigig, mutal lir this menach they mazen shalosh shudis. If it was b'shoigig, Chazal, he could take the mazen 3 sudas. If he doesn't have any other pass for Shabbos. I could tell other people, pass the Shabbos boy to do lachem wasn't give sudas. However, because he did the wrong thing, we say that at least you should try to do it with a sakin, not with the tongues or whatever keli they usually use.
Original item.
Yeah, if you can't do b'shinui, you could do it b'marde kedarke. Usually, b'shoigig, if a person left food in the, we give a knas. He's not allowed to eat it in Shabbos. So we don't care if he has other food or not. Why mitnamol bread is different? The answer is the Rishonim all answer because food on Shabbos you don't have to have cholent, kugel, fish. Without bread, you're not doing the mitzvah of gimel sudas. Vitaki had nothing to eat. Chazal will matter bread because that's the essential thing. But if Taki has no bread and he has eggs, we'll be making mozen shalosh sudas from eggs. Also b'Shabbos and Paz Shenefes Bisa. Today lavorach alechem mishna shleimim. Given sheikar mitzvah shalosh shudas b'Shabbos yochel l'kayim v'lo pazud. The ikar mitzvah of shudas Shabbos is not shleima. Shleimus is like cream on the cake.
Can you use this for lechem mishnah? You're not going to cut it, not eat it, but just use it for lechem mishnah.
If you're not going to eat it, b'chlal, it's a big shayla if it's counted as lechem mishnah. And I think we'll deal with it. This is going to be a mitzvah Shem this year. We're doing the last Pedic that we didn't do yet in Hilchas Birchas Hanenet. Pedic Yud in the Seder B'Chzanan from the Alter Rebbe. And over there it starts off about Prusa and Shlema, and the Mitzvah Shem, we're going to go to those Shurim, we'll talk about the two Chalas, the Minik Chabad,
Last week, and
Friday
I
night, Shabbos day,
Erev
the
Tashem.
top Chala, the bottom Chala, the middle Chala, you hold it this way, you hold it that way. There's 300 ways of holding Chala. It's unbelievable. Everything by Yidden has to be 300
last weekend I
opinions.
remember said in you don't have to eat mashu.
No, I'm talking about the Chalas. How are you supposed to hold the Chalas?
Oh,
Minik Chabad, there's a whole trick. Friday night, you do like this, and
Well, I
Shabbos
was just
day, you
asking,
do
like,
like
you
this.
made a mistake, the kind of challah and Shabbos.
Can you use
Yeah,
it?
You're not allowed to
Mishnah.
eat it, but can I use it for like a mission?
Pashas Lechem Mishnah, you have to eat from it.
Something that you, like by Erev Tashem, like
Yeah.
something that you could eat.
But okay, weiter. So the bottom line is, we're makel to take bread for 3 sudas out of the oven, because that the main thing of Shabbos is to eat bread. If he already has bread, just lechem mishnah is not critical.
Because I use many times frozen challah for like a mission.
So good, you theoretically, but would you cut the other challah?
Yeah. I just use it for like a mission.
Okay, but here the guy,
You made it beiso.
no,
Not made it
I
beiso.
understand he made it beisur, but you're saying he'll take this challah and he'll put it on the side of the prusa, but
Right.
but he's not going to cut. You're taking a frozen challah and another whole challah.
Right.
This guy is going to take 2 hot challahs that he's not going to cut, and he'll only cut the other one. I don't know if it's going to help. Agam, we're going to learn about it. We're going to learn a little bit about it. It's a good child. I don't know. It's a good child. That's a good child. I don't know. That's my insight.
It's kosher, but you're not allowed to eat
They're not allowed to eat it. So the shaila is, if you put it on the table, would it be counted as? So the shaila is really by lechem mishnah. If you just put it on the table, you mekayim the mitzvah lechem mishnah. Maybe yeah, maybe no. Madaf noch ma'ayin zayin. But bli neder, when we're going to do the shiurim, on the right after Pesach, and then we'll get into this. Yeah, we're gonna. This is our last.
You cannot eat. Can you use it as like a mission?
Right.
Like
Look,
you don't eat the matzah before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You use a matzah for
Right.
Mishnah.
Yeah, OUD bread, lamazag.
What?
OUD. OU with the D, which is cholavaka.
Oh, it's not part of the soil, but it's kosher.
It's pasakum and basakum and cholavaka. Lo yitzirich alirdas b'shinu elk shenefes be'isur. When did they say lechatchili you have to do b'shinu if it was baked be'isur? Av dem nefes be'heter, if it was baked be'heter. Kagon shekormu panem b'yoyim, that it got brown b'yoyim, b'betanu shamonu. Hagora v'kotam, or was our type of tanun, which has a din of a kida, and it was gora v'kotam, which should be a tanum achutza, tuach betit, shaz en lochish lachit commission var l'mayla. So as long as baked beheter, mutar lirdis b'marat kedak, kinajut tzarech shabbos she'en pasacheres. Avalim yesh lepasacheres also lirdis afilu b'shinu. Shedidiyas apasad tzura medivri seifrim. V'lo yitirua elo l'tzarech shabbos. They would not matter it, even b'shinui. Only l'tzerich Shabbos. The only difference is if it was baked beheter, he doesn't have to be matriach himself to do b'shinui. But if he baked it b'isur, he has to matriach himself to do b'shinui. And if he can't, then he can do it regular. Turn the page. This is talking about the ovens in those days. Sure, I can't keep of him with the mad the beacon passel doif netano. Shachim dia. That was where they put the pass and they glued it to the walls of the town. And over there, Shaykh to say the dia or not a dia. But by our tanurim, that the pass is in the bottom of the town. You can't say yet a dia, not a dia. Us, we put the bread in like pizza, and we take it out. That's not a dia. As long as the passos had nefes bet, you're allowed to take it out.
On Shabbos.
On Shabbos. Afa b'sheish lePasach cheres. Kol makom lo yotze berachas shelo yotze kederach shoyse. B'choil rachas is just like when you take a pizza. That
machva, they look like a machva.
Yeah, that stick with the wooden. So that stick. You know. Yeah. Why? Shelo yotze kederach shoyse b'choil. It's uvdin nechoil. Alo yitchav b'sakin kayotze b'yotze b'makel. Should take it out with a sack and a makel or whatever. Last week we just got to this point now. I didn't get a chance to really explain. This is Agishmak Lomdus. I think Lanius Daiti. Why we said before that if he in those days when they took out bread, they had like again they had like tanurim like in the shawarma store
Yeah.
on Coney Island,
Kaboom.
and they put the dough on the wall. They put the dough on the wall.
They stick it.
They stick it. So the
Yeah.
the idea is what Chazal call chochma ve'ena malacha. Taking it out, if me and you will go there with the thing, instead of
fall
taking it
down.
out, it'll
It'll
fall
fall
in the
down.
fire and burn. So it's a chochma ve'ena malacha. Chacham said it's also midrabanon. If you do it b'shinui, you did a malacha b'shinui. You did a malacha b'shinui. So therefore, we said you're only allowed to take 3 sudas. Chacham said only 3 sudas. Now, if you baked it better, you're allowed to do beridiyah because Chacham going to be easy on you. If you baked it beisur, we're going to be matriach you to do with a sakam. If you can't, you do. We can only take maz and gimel sudas, not more, because this is isur derabanan. And they only said like Kavod Shabbos to have pass for 3 sudas. We'll let you take out bread. V'zeu. It's heim omru veheim omru. Chacham said it's also, but for 3 sudas we'll let you. V'zmanenu that you put in the bread. So if you're gonna do berachas, if you're gonna do it with that stick, it's also why it's uvdin the. But if you're not gonna do berachas with a sakin, it's not the pshat you did a malacha de rabbanon b'shinu. No. That's not osir at all. That's heter gomel. Why? Because you have to understand what's going on over here. When the oven is like this and you put in the bread, you're taking it out. That's a chocham. So if you're taking it out with the tongs, that's mamash isa de rabbanon. If you're taking it out with a knife, that's a isa de rabbanon that you're doing it b'shinui, right? Just like there's a difference if you turn on your car on Shabbos, right? If someone has to run to the hospital, yeah.
Can't turn it off.
So that's a separate issue. He wants to turn on the car. So if Chas v'Shalom, he shouldn't waste time, but if he could turn on, say there's a button, if he could turn it on with his elbow, because it's b'shinui, so then he did a isa de ra'isa b'shinui, then he didn't do a malacha really. So if he could be mishana, should be mishana, right? If you have a choice, you have a button to start your car. Today you have a button. So if you have to run to the hospital on Shabbos, again, if it's don't waste your time. Don't start taking out a kitzur shulchan aruch chas v'shalom. I'm saying a person knows a tamet chochem, he's gleich. So if he could do it with his elbow, and it'll take the same amount of time because your finger you did isa deraisa. If you do it with your elbow, you only did it isa derabonim because you did it b'shinu. Every malacha that you do b'shinu, you take it one step down. But the difference is like this: when you have bread stuck like this, if you take it out with the tongues, that's a isur. If you take it out with a knife, that's a isur b'shinui. Okay, but it's still an isur. But when you take it out with that wooden stick, so when you take out the pizza, that's isur. It's uvdin the choil. If you're taking it with a knife, that's not an isur b'shinui. That's not an isur. That's not an isur. That's why in those days when they had tanurim shalohem, so therefore you can only take maz and gimel sudas because even if you're going to take it out with a sakin, you're doing an isur b'shinu. Shenk and tanurim shalonu that you got to take a stick and take it out. That's uvdin the choil. So if you're going to do that, tak it. It's also to do unless you have all gimel sudas. But if you want to take more, you can take it with a sakin. Why with a sakin? Because that's not. There's no such thing as uvdin the choil b'shinu. Is it uvdin the choil? It's not uvdin the choil.
Nobody do it.
If you say taking out bread, so you can say taking out the bread with the tongues, that's a malacha. You're taking out with a knife, it's a malacha b'shinui. But when you say something is uvdin the choil, yeah.
But this whole thing, I have a technical question. This whole baking of the bread takes about 4 or 5 minutes. What do you mean? He just put it in 2 minutes before Shabbos and he took it out 2
It's hard
minutes
for us
after?
to understand.
Because if it's later, it's burned.
I know. They must have had ovens that were schwache coals. It would take like 45 minutes.
Oh,
It's hard for us to imagine. Because
you understand what I'm saying? Because this pita bread takes 4 minutes, 3 minutes.
It's just done. If you leave it there more than 4 minutes, it's toast. It's garnished.
And then the matzah
it's
is
burnt.
half a minute.
Half a minute.
Less.
Ich verstehe nicht. They had that is funny. They didn't have like we had powerful gas. It's like powerhouse of a gas burning.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, ich verstehe. They must have had colds. Come. It took 45 minutes for it to get.
When the guy put the 2 sticks in the matzah, you put, right? The sticks, matzah, second.
Right.
When you put the third one,
He
you
takes
pull
out
out the
the
ones you're already
first one.
starting to take out those.
Right.
Less than half a second.
That's a matzah, but
10
even
seconds.
the peanut bread is 3 to 4 minutes,
Right.
5 minutes, the whole thing.
Because-
Not
Right,
even.
right,
Because
right.
the oven is 700 degrees.
Yes, good. Yeah.
That's why.
And their oven was 150 degrees.
Oh.
The Shomakirchter
And you
is
put
still
it before
there.
Shabbos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And it's scary that you
Yeah. But
that you should have a Friday night.
Right. But this is the difference between those tanurim. If you did it with a sakin, you did a malacha b'shinui. So for the max you can do is gimel sudas. That's what chacham make. But bisman hazeh, it's not a chachma. A little boy at 5 years old could take out a pizza with this. So that's like uvdin nechol. But if you do it with a knife, it's not. There's no such thing as uvdin b'chol b'shinui. Is it uvdin nechol? It's not. It's a cat. It's not a cat. It's a half a cat. The shaykh hazazach. Is it a cat? It's not a cat. Is that mensch? A halber mensch. The shaykh hazazach.
I think she says she's pregnant, almost pregnant. It's not such a thing.
What does that? So uvdin by taking it out from the oven like this. So you could say there's a malacha and there's a malacha b'shinui. But when you're taking it out with a knife from a pizza oven, that's not called uvdin dechol b'shinui. It's not uvdin dechol. Monoshech. Yeah, uvdin dechol nishlam dechol. Oh, it's not uvdin dechol. So therefore, you're allowed to take out as much as you want bread.
It's almost like taking out soup with a fork.
Mm-hmm. I can't say that's a malacha with a shini. But that's only if you plan to eat this bread. Also, let's say if he doesn't have a mind to eat, forget about it. Don't let it take it out. Let it burn. You're not allowed to put meichen for Shabbos achel. Till Baal Makadon Lahavi Yain Mamart Shabbos b'Shabbos. Tzorech Havdalah b'Mitzvah Shabbos. Person is not allowed to even go to his basement to drink wine on Shabbos. So I'll have for Havdalah Matzah Shabbos ready to make Havdalah because you're not allowed to be meichen for Shabbos l'chol. Cholkayotzu bazek Moshe Yizbar b'Sim Tafak V'V Gimel Yom Tapayin Shabbos. I feel the main diet to lechem apad b'Shabbos also little natanu shalom.
Which issue is to bring the wine from the basement?
Because you're being meichem Shabbos l'chol. Havdalah you have to make b'chol.
Would have to bring wine just for the kiddush for the.
Lama Zogna, a person doesn't have wine only in his basement.
You have to
He'll-
bring just one cup for the kiddush. Bring a whole bottle.
Yeah, so he's not allowed to walk into his basement on Shabbos. He's meichel Shabbos l'chol. He has to wait till after Shabbos out, and then he'll go down to the basement.
For sure, like you cannot prepare a salad that
Right.
you're going to eat on after Motzei
Right.
Shabbos. Even
I
if
feel
it's-
him ain't diet lechem apaz b'Shabbos. Also little latano shalom she'eni gora vekotim so machashech kol kach she'en shose yikrum panem b'yem af pishu oifes latzerech matzah Shabbos. He's not allowed to put it into the oven. Say, I only want it for matzah Shabbos. So chol Shabbos kol yochel ofetz balachitu. Famokim choshim. Shem yemolach achekach lachla b'Shabbos. Sheri mutar lo loitzia matano shalom she'en b'redia. Kivi she'daita la lachla shem yishkech v'yechatem b'cholam ligmer v'fasa. Shematam also lashas tav shol tzera shul shachris lekol makom shas lashas tzera shul salayla. Shum gzeide shem yechatem b'chol. Commission is bar b'semeresh negimel. Afa pisha atzu the shachris. Yochel is bashal b'halochitu. So a person says, I put in the bread, I'm going to eat it matzah Shabbos. Oh, because what happens if he changes his mind and wants to eat on Shabbos? We're scared, then he's going to be machatem b'gecholim. Just like a person can't say, I put in vegetables to the tanur, well, I'm not going to eat it only for suda shachris, so don't worry about shem yechatem b'gecholim. No, because we're scared you're going to change your mind. You're going to want to eat it for by night, and then you are going to be machatem b'gecholim. We should also pass latanur b'Shabbos atzmo. Person that put pasta in a tanur on Shabbos. And now he wants to take it out. What happened over here? It's a Gemara in Dalet in Masechet Shabbos. We learned it 3 or 4 years ago. I remember at the time, it's a given a Geschmack at Toysvis, and it's a stark gekocht in the Toysvis. What happens if a person
He did one Isur, should I do a second Isur?
on Shabbos,
Yeah.
he accidentally or intentionally went and put paspatan. He remembered now before it got baked, and he wants to do tshuva. So if he's going to take out, he did it Yisad Rabon.
If you're going to leave,
If you're going to leave it, he's going to Yisad Reis.
What should you do?
So we say the Chacham said, you know what? We're being mevater. Go do the Isa Derabanan. Go do the Isa Derabanan in order not to have a Isa Deraisa. Otherwise, if you did it amazing with Adam, it's skila. Otherwise, it'll be Isur of Kodus. So you say better you should take the bread out and be over Isa Derabanan in order not to Chas v'Shalom have a Isa skila, Isa Chatos. אבל עוד מאחר שלא יתיר לרדוס. תפילה על ידי שינה, כדי שלא יאבד לחבר על ידי חטא הסקילה. שאין אומרים לא לאדם חטא כדי שיזך כחברך, כדי שחבר יקושה. ומה שנוסן הפס,
You can say
לתנו.
You can say if he did it amazing, you cannot
Toisves, remember, we had this is read 5-6 stories in the Shas, where we see that a person does an Aveda in order to save another Yid. For example,
supposed to.
there was you're not allowed to free a slave. There was a person, he had a maid. Chacham forced him to make her free. Why? Because the people were sleeping with her like a zayna. So we see that you can make a person sin in order to be mezakeh other people. So Tosfos back and forth. One of the Tosfos says she was such a bad zayna that she was practically pulling people's pants down. So it wasn't. They didn't do anything bad to Kilu. It wasn't a pshi on their side.
So how was he Machal Shabbos? He paid for
No, I'm saying
to
over
release
there.
her?
No, he didn't aveda because you're not allowed to free your slave. Oilam behem tavoid.
On Shabbos.
Not
Well,
Shabbos,
any
on
day.
Monday. You're not allowed to free your slave. It says
Oh,
oilam behem tavoid. And they told the owner of the shivcha to make her free.
because he's
She's just walking around sleeping with everybody. So it's a back and forth according to the first Shav and second. I'm just giving you an example, one of 7, 8 Gemaras. It's a very important sugya. In Siman Shim Vav, and I spoke about it a lot in one of the shiurim of the Kol Yom Rishon. Story about a person who found out that his daughter in the house of the Galach. He's chayv to be Machal Shabbos to try to save his daughter. And even if it's friend's daughter, he has to be Machal Shabbos, is Mechuyev to Machal Shabbos to save his friend's daughter from being in the Galach's house. So when do you say Chate Kadesh Yizake Chaverecha? When don't you say Chate? It depends. If that guy was Pesheya, then I'm not allowed to sin even the smaller. But if he was not Pesheya, then
You have to
then I have to go save him.
Right.
And this is the sikha that we learned Sunday night, where David talks about Inyan that Ayid, that Rabbi Yosi was lost from his darga, fell from his darga to help another Yid, like Mordechai Tzaddik. He got a demotion in Sanhedrin to help another Yid. Take, I'm going to lose. But we say Chatei, sometimes if that person wasn't Pesheya, we say that I should sin in order to save another Yid. So what could Chet Malosh Chesaron? What could be a bigger Chesaron could there be that I'm closing my Gemara, I'm closing my Shulchan Aruch, I'm closing my Lakutei Torah Oir to go save another Yid. But it's Kedai. It's Kedai. Unless that guy is a Pesheya. Unless he's a Pesheya. Okay, Lani is daiti that even if he was a Pesheya, if you're going to take out the bread with a knife, which I said before, that's not a malacha b'shina, it's not a malacha, that would be muter legamri. The reason the Alter Rebbe didn't say it is because none of the poets can mention it. So the Alter Rebbe's style was not to say chidushim that no one else mentioned it. But based on what I was saying before, that when you take out a sakin, regular bread, bisman hazeh, when you take it out with a sakin, not with a mardo, it's not a malacha b'shinu. It's machal, not a malacha. So then you're not doing any malacha. So for sure you should save your friend, even if he's a pesheya. Again, why didn't the Alter Rebbe say it? Because none of the poets can mention it, but it's a davar poshut.
Okay. Today, if you had a fire and you have to save food, how much would you
Right, otazoi. If you give away, mal adam kededa associates to turmusi, a person shouldn't fill up a pot with associates. This is beans. Shashar mene kitnias v'yanich al gabe kiro teich atanu shlona shein toch betit. Menim gurim v'tumim. If there was no blech, Elm Ken Yeshus Bayim Shis Bash Kamachim the Soy. As laws, I know it's could cook on Friday. Kamachim Ben the Soy can female again like our meaning that we go like Hananya. Avlim Ein Shus Bayim Kokach. If there's not enough time, also Nichash I feel some Al Mamish. If there isn't time, forget about it. I feel some Al Shechamam Vinchik Yoitz is a bebosser mutal Hashem. Kim Shu Chayla Gamri some Al Shechem Lichul Gamar. Oilus to the Salayla. Call me the kidneys and Marim Les Bashal. Kidneys gets cooked very quick. Chelam Legomer Lesu the Salayla. Vechein call me the kidney Yerakis. That vegetables and beans they could cook very fast. So you can't say, it's don't worry, it's like raw meat. It's not going to get ready till tomorrow.
By the night you might eat.
You might eat it. Rashi says just the opposite. This is Shit Sanamam. That Turmusin, it takes so long to cook. It takes like 24 hours to cook.
So you're not going to mechalak.
It'll be machata because even in the morning it's not going to be ready yet. No, it takes 24 hours for it to get ready.
It's not going to help you.
No, it's going to help. In the morning, it's not going to be ready yet. In the morning, when he's going to wake up in the morning, the child
not going to be good.
Yeah, but that's why it's going to be machata because.
But even if you machata.
No, if it'll be machata, nicht gefährlich. So it's going to get. That's what Rashi says. Punkt verkehrt. The Rambam says that it
takes a long time.
It takes 3 minutes. So therefore, we're scared.
How long it takes?
Oh, it doesn't. Rashi says that even 12 hours might not be enough for Turmus. And Rambam says 1 hour, it's ready. Chick chack.
It's the same time, no.
How could the Rambam and Rashi argue? Rashi says 12 hours is not enough, and the Rambam says 2 hours it's ready. You can put on the plate. So we know that the Alter Rebbe brings them again to Torah that the whole thing with the Apikoidus that asked Rebbe Akiva, why do we have to have a bris milah? Why do we have to have a bris milah? A person was born without a bris milah. This is good. Why do we have to have a bris milah? So Rebbe Akiva answered, Turmus and tzrichim tikun. They're also a turmus, and that you have to cook it because you can't eat it. The Gemara says a turmus you have to cook it 7 times. The Rambam says we had it in the Rambam yesterday, the day before. We had it lately in the Rambam. We're doing the Shabbos that turmusim the shell is considered like oichel and not like psoilus because the shell makes it sweet. You have to cook it 7 times and you have to have the shells there. I don't know what turmusim are.
Yeah.
Whatever. But
some kind of
you have to cook it 7 times. Lanius daiti maybe like this. The Rambam was talking about he already cooked it 6 times. He's cooking it now for the 7th time. So 2 hours, chick chack will be done. Rashi was talking about that it was raw. He didn't cook it even once yet. So even 12 hours, it might not be enough. I know it sounds like a funny pshat, but like it's funny. How would the Rashi and Rambam? It's a turmusin. They don't know? I don't know what Turmusim are. Whatever. I didn't look. I'm not. If you look in Art Scroll Gemara, you'll figure out what Turmusim is. I don't know whatever. I'm saying the Rashi and the Rambam argue what Turmusim are. That was their.
How long it take to cook?
The Metzias. Put in a pot. See what the Turmusim. What's a Turmus?
No, sometimes go on.
Turmus.
What? You have, I can go. Knocking dove, and yeah.
Okay, I don't know, some type of bean.
Yeah. Looks like a hard. It looks like something. Yeah, I never.
Turmus.
No, זה נראה כמו שיעורי.
Cockles are very, very
כמו תירס כזה.
Yeah. Yeah.
But over here it says tumus. They have it in Israel in a can.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a turmus from the
Yeah,
Gemara.
here it is in the shell, I think.
Yeah, I see. I don't know if this is the turmus in the Gemara.
Yeah.
Like shuit go up this way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if this is.
I don't know if this is the turmus from the Gemara.
But they don't say turmusin, they call it turmus.
Turmus. Okay, turmusim is
Allah.
10 of them. Loshen Abed.
Yeah.
Turmus is 1. Turmusin is a bunch. So Page Kuflamet Zayin.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lanius died to that would be a good charter between Rashi and the Rambam. Otherwise, it would be crazy. Rashi says 12 hours is not enough for a Turmus, and the Rambam says in 2 hours is ready. So Lanius died. It's a simple shot because the Gemara says you need to cook it 12 times. The Rambam was talking about you cooked 7. You need to cook it 7 times. The Rambam was talking you cooked it 6 times, and now you're cooking the 7th time. So in 2 hours it'll be ready. Rashi's talking about when it's raw and you didn't even cook it once. Hak upon him. If a person put the pot of any of these beans or vegetables on the fire and there was no blech and it was less than Kamaichel ben Desoy, so then, as we know, there's a knas, ad l'matzah Shabbos b'chtei sheyaseh.
Then she asks, 12 hours or
It depends. I don't know. If it's my pshat is right, it depends. What was it?
which time is it?
Yeah. You know,
First
when I
time or
went to the
seventh?
pot, was it for the 7th time or for the first time? Same thing, a person that puts water to be machama. This sif is very important. Sometimes, before Shabbos, we fill up the
Hot water.
hot water, the chainik, the turmus, not turmus, turmusin, the thermos,
Tammuz, yeah.
the thermos.
We use the wood thermos in Igbo just to keep hot the water,
Yeah.
Yeah,
to keep it warm. That's
yeah,
it.
it's different
It's
turmus.
different thermos.
So the din is the Alter Rebbe holds lechumra that has to be cooked at least 50% before Shabbos. Otherwise, they have to have go to v'kotu. Otherwise, it must be go to v'kotu. Chen adim b'nois mayim b'kdei l'chanom. The tanur shalom shene go to v'kotu. L'tzorich shtiya, if he wants to drink the water, afilu l'tzorich hadochas kelim v'shabbos. L'tzorich shaniach shom agdeira mipoy yoim. Kol kach sheyeshuz b'im shuch l'scham chatzi achimum. L'chatchila. Has to be that before the sun set, that at 50% of the water was cooked. Lefi minogenu, oy shechamu kol tzorkam, or has to be fully cooked, according to the Rambam and the Rif. The Sfardim, we loisim lahashem tafshim hasar kachim the soy. I feel a kol tzorkachim estamik veraloi. The Rambam Chaim gamkim estamik veraloi. Hot water, if they're cooking more, is it ra? Why is it ra?
It's gonna finish.
It evaporates.
Evaporate, yeah. That's
It evaporates. Nicht geht's. I'm losing tea and coffee. Aber lo yanich shom somuch l'chashei chemamish. Shamayim Shamayim gamkem im emarim l'schama. That the water is mischama quickly. V'af Shamayim rum l'shti gamkem tzoinim. Even though a person could drink water that's cold, it's cold water is edible. But they're not as good. By Paytas, we said, we were makel about Paytas. We said that Paytas, by definition, you could eat it raw, cooked. So we said, you know what, with fruits,
Hot water is not the same.
it's not the same. Fruits, you can eat it this way or that way. So we make believe that the fruits are already cooked. But water, it's not that way. So therefore, it has to be cooked before the sun sets. And if it didn't have at least shlish cooked, because there's a machlok zerash and Rambam, machmer the soy is a shlish or chatzi. So machatchilu we machmer, but David we make.
The hot water that we have today, the electric one, what is it called? Cotton?
So that's what we keep on talking about. Like this.
Way over here in the kitchen. What is this? It's cotton?
Yeah, l'choira.
They put it before Shabbos. No?
Yeah, because it doesn't have a dial to make it higher and bigger. So what's the way? Shami yechat v'kacholem. It's not shaykh to zong shami yechat v'kacholem.
You're not going to take it from that before it's ready.
What are you going to do? You take out the plug and put it back. So who are we going to make? We're going to make our own gzeiris. It doesn't make sense. But if it has the dial turning around,
They're on the dial. You used to be a Ibn Chochum over here. Come,
What does it?
do it to 400.
Right.
Why? Come Shabbos morning, there was no water.
right?
That's why it burnt out.
That's why I burned
No,
out.
but
That's how it burnt out.
It was Shabbos. It's like, it's better not to come middle of the night to eat over here, but you go and play with the hot water.
Nabach. but that was taka not good because then you could that this
You're gonna
this
make it
the
warm faster.
yeah. So most of the things that just have a plug-in. But I told you I have now one. It's a very cute one. It has a button on and off, right?
Right.
And then it has
Cover, right.
a cover with a button you put on the cover, and it says Shabbos Kodesh.
You know not to open it.
Shabbos Kodesh. It covers. It's very cute. And you could get in the stores. That's first of all, L'chaim should be a refuah shlema from Ben Sora. I was today in the hospital.
Before.
Oh, yeah. So I was there. So I was
is now.
he's in Cornell. So I was back and forth. So I spent a little time in the Kecholim room. So I saw they have exactly that type of
Oven.
that's it's one of the companies. It's very cute. They have a thing. You have to move it to turn on the button. You have to move it, and then it goes on. Shabbos Kodesh. It's very cute. Shabbos Kodesh.
There's also something here. The candlelight for Shabbos.
Yeah.
You turn the this. And
Yeah.
that's it. It's Shabbos.
Yeah.
It's not electric.
It's a battery, or
battery.
Yeah.
So when you turn the bulbs,
Yeah.
it's like
It's another discussion. We were doing it lately about electricity. We're doing about light bulbs. Very important. I already spoke about it in the shir we did around Hanukkah time.
What is it?
It's very important that those bulbs should be incandescent bulbs, not LED bulbs, because it's code of loima that if it's a LED bulb, it's a bracha levatol. Because
We don't even make a bracha.
no, I would say if it's a regular light bulb, an incandescent light bulb, old-fashioned light bulb, you make a bracha. Yeah, but not
LED.
But not LED.
Not LED.
Not LED. Not LED.
I mean, there's no fire there, but the top of the old light bulb, there's
Fluorescent. I thought that whatever's good for this is bad for this. You know what I mean? Like just like I was saying with the Korban Pesach. You know, whatever is bad for Shabbos is good for the Korban Pesach. So over here, you know, whatever is bad for Shabbos is good for Neder Shabbos. You say this is the Reish because it's Eish. So okay, it's the Eish. So it's good for a Shabbos candle. If you're telling me that this is not really a Shabbos fire, and you're going to be makel to tell a goy shvus b'makom mitzvah, and then you're going to make a bracha in such a candle. Well, I don't understand. You can't have it both sides true. You know, so if you're telling me, you have to decide how you hold. Even if you hold that every light bulb is a problem with electricity, so chaznish or whatever, but it's a different, not because it's fire. It's an andazach. It's boine. You hold makabeh patish, boine, all kinds of funny things. But it's not because of fire, not that the chaznish understands. So I think so. I know I see lately. I see, but people got already used to that. They use a plug or they use a battery. So nishtar vevadova, they're using LED lights. But
What do you have battery with LED? You don't have
I see it. What do you mean? You telling me?
flashlight with a LED?
Yeah, my mother was doing it. She showed me. Oh, it's bring donor. I said, understand. Why are you buying these ones with the LED? The LED is not garnished. Same thing with Shabbos. She showed me I told her you have to go back to buy the old ones with the old bulbs. That mamasha bulb. So those bulbs, that's cheap, these bulbs, garnished.
It's good for 2-3 hours and then it shut off.
Okay, bottom line, we're not going to get a chance to look at Sachin, but very Geschmack at Sachin, and Al Rebbe proves his shita from a half a dozen places in Shas that mayim also l'shtia must be cooked before Shabbos 50%, unless it's goru v'kotum. If it's not goru v'kotum, nishtava serem. Let's quickly just finish. At least we'll finish this simon. Also with mayim some alachshech gedera kol betech tana besfer velam ken yeshus b'shofel scham tzat schim b'yem avchi kavanos l'shlet tevok gedera makom kem shchom skam kem mayim lolo shescham kedei ladich bel kem b'shatz k'mesh derech ladich when yishloch shemechat l'gachol. It has to be 50%. V'av b'shor what the lismach etzel tan shene gore v'kotum Komok and Kimish Kedera to Beletas Alagachon Shubatan Reka Mashal Kabakol Mamish, and that's not considered a blech. So it has to be cooked 50%. And if it wasn't even a shlish, which shlish bishulam is the minimum of Michael and the soy, V'boyim also afilu ladir ben kelim al matzah b'smach de'shiyasa because he chaps a knas. Koma kim nosum koydem shus katana efshe shlok and my shogig because then before husa katana there's an extra thing echad nosum v'echad nosum, so maybe over here doesn't apply the Gzeri de Rabban. We're going to have to finish summation maybe before Pesach. So next week, even though we said we're going to do only in Yoni Pesach, Lina, that we'll finish summation which will only take 5-10 minutes, and then we finish summation on Gimel on Dalet on Hey, Reish and Vav did in the summer, and then we have Reish and Zayin on Ches and Tes for after Pesach. So first we're going to do summation Yud Ches. Next.
Who is the Chazan for Mali?
Everyone.
Don't forget Yalav Yovoy.
Kodesh, yes, Yom.
Yes, Yalav Yovoy.
There's a koyach, Rabbi. It's koyach.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Shikoyach everyone for joining. Missing Geula Geula.
The son of seemingly God.
Yes, we're going from the Geula of Purim to Geula Pesach to Geula Mashiach.
Oh, right.
It's Mech Lavo,
Because you're going to be
Amen.
Mavat the Geula.
Amen. Give me a
So, I mean, yes, yeah, that's the